Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually had a thought piece drop this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today the topic of discussion is mental wellness. And on the topic of mental wellness today, I'm going to talk about reflection and recovery. So I am myself right now recovering from a cold. It was short, but definitely spirited. So it gave me an opportunity to pause because I really didn't have the energy to do much else. So I did a lot of reflection, and I think it was the right opportunity to do some reflection because I've been pushing so hard to try to really just build some traction, some momentum with some of the goals that I have offline or outside of Project Purpose, that I honestly felt like I was spinning out. Like I was doing so much. I had so many kegs in so many different places. It was really just a lot of energy spent, but not necessarily spent the best way. And I think that sometimes when you are in a situation where there's a certain degree of time sensitivity, there's a lot of pressure coming in from different sides. There's a lot of factors that play into, what success looks like and also what failure looks like, that makes success all the more important that we can really start to spin out, right? We can really be so focused on moving and on doing that we forget that it's important to do things with intention and do things with reflection, right? We need to be misers. We need to be strategic in the way that we put our energy, and just putting our energy out there for the sake of saying, hey, I've done something today. I was pushing towards something today. I accomplished this objective today. Whereas, rather than being like much more intentional about what it is we're putting out there, being, spending some time to reflect on what it is that we're putting out and how it is that we're selling ourselves. I think that they're very different things. And I think sometimes we start out being really mindful and being really intentional, but then as time goes on, we start to feel a little bit frantic and we start to just kind of put our energy wherever we can and just hope for the best, right? And that often is like the worst strategy that a lot of us fall into. And I think having a period of illness gave me an opportunity to just reflect on all the ways that I was trying to create success for myself, and it gave me an opportunity to really reset, right? And I'm still not 100%. So I'm still having opportunities where I can spend more time reflecting, and it might look like an action, but it's not. It's really me making sure that when I am available and ready to hit the ground running, I'm doing it with much more intention, and my runway is much less narrow. So success doesn't look like just this one very specific thing. I've broadened my definition of success to increase my likelihood of success in and of itself. And I think that sometimes like we can really miss the mark because we've made the mark so small, the target so tiny, that we're setting ourselves up, you know, to really struggle and to really find a lot of difficulty along that journey when we're already dealing with external factors that can create difficulty in and of itself. So I think that that's really important. I think also like reflecting involves a balanced approach, right? So not just reflecting on all the things that didn't go well, all the things that did go well, right? All the learning and the insight that I've gained up until this point. I'm like very clear on where I do not want my energy to go at this point, and I think that that's really important. But also reflecting on like the support that I did and didn't receive. I think that that's also really important because oftentimes it is in the moments where we need support that we start to realize like who is really in our court and who isn't, right? Like who is really for us and who isn't. And sometimes that can be a really disappointing realization. But for me, because I'm mostly an entrepreneur, because I like to make big moves, I like to make big waves, there are going to be periods of time where I'm going to need support, and oftentimes it is in those periods that I am met with like the realization of reality, like who really is there to support and who is there just to kind of be a figurehead in my life. So I think these periods of transition, they give you an opportunity to think on and reflect on, you know, the people that you surround yourself with, on the actions that you're taking towards the goals that you're pushing towards as well. And so I think that reflection is really very important. I think it's just as important as action. It's just as important as pushing towards your goals. It's just as important as putting your energy in different places to align your actions to the things that you're hoping for and that you're looking towards. And so illness is often a big reason why I reflect. I'm often a doer, I'm a mover and a shaker, but often if it is the case that I am sick, my mind is still going 100 miles a minute. So even though my body is resting, my mind still is going. So I figured, well, why not make this like an intentional and useful exercise by putting my reflection to work as to like, well, how am I going to reset, realign, recalibrate my energy so that I'm successful in the things that I'm pushing towards once I'm ready to get off and really push towards the thing that matter most to me. But also I think that it's really important in these periods of reflection that I celebrate the big decisions that I made that brought me up until this point. And I think that oftentimes when we're not getting the outcomes that we're looking for, we can start to regret the decisions that brought us to now. So I think it's important for me to recognize that like I don't regret any decision that has brought me to now. Every decision that I've made that has brought me to this point in time was the right decision to make. And although this point in time there's a lot of like nebulous unknown, there's a lot of uncertainty, none of the uncertainty is enough for me to regret the choices and the decisions that I made like with a lot of clarity, right? So I think oftentimes when we don't give ourselves the opportunity to reflect, we start to progress. We want to be back to a place that was maybe a little bit more stable, a little bit more secure, but it could have been toxic, right? Like if you left a situation for the unknown, it was probably not the best situation to be in, right? So don't ever have regrets. Like even if you're dealing with uncertainty, with a certain degree of instability, you're dealing with a lot of unknowns, like if you've made the right decisions, despite the fact that your decisions brought you to this point, anchor on the decisions that you made for yourself, right? Celebrate those decisions and know that you're going to continue on pushing forward and making decisions that are in your best interest. And so this is going to be short and sweet because I'm still like my voice is recovering. So as much as I could say much more on the topic of reflection and on mindful reflection and on compassionate reflection, right? So reflection isn't the same as like self-criticism or judgment or being harsh with yourself. It's really just thinking about like where your energy has been, where your energy is going, where you would like your energy to go, how you would like to like orient yourself in a way that best serves you, and really celebrating the big and the small wins as well. So I think even clarity as to where your energy will no longer be going is super critical, is super important, and also something worth like a nugget of truth, a nugget of information that is going to support you as you push forward in your path. So I thought it would be important to come on here to talk about that. That's it, but definitely not all. This is just it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I promise that there'll be more depth to the content once I'm on the up and up, but I'm happy to be able to still come on here and to shoot these videos despite the fact that I was definitely in a well of illness for a little while, but I'm happy that I'm recovering and I'm still able to like meet the cadence that I have established and put these videos out there for you to ponder and to absorb, and hopefully they're of value add to you. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page, so definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops, largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So definitely be sure to tune in, be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite all of you to give us a like, follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.